My topic is about inclusive education learning approaches. It is all about inclusion. What is inclusive education? Inclusion is an approach where every learner is valued, supported, and given access to equal opportunities and learning experiences. Inclusive education happens when all learners, regardless of any challenges may have, are placed in age appropriate general education classes to receive quality instruction, intervention, and support that enable them to succeed in the core curriculum. These are the inclusive education programs. Number one, we have the Special Education Program or the SPED. Number two, the Madrasa Education Program. Number three, Indigenous Peoples Education Program. Number four, the Street Children Education. Number five, Education of Sexually Abused Children. Number six, Education of Children in Conflict with the Law. And number seven, Children at Risk of Dropping Out. What is inclusive education? Inclusive education is a learning environment where children with and without disabilities are taught together as equals. So, all of these students or learners can be seen or inside the classroom. What is learner engagement? Learner engagement is a measure that highlights the level of a learner's participation. It looks at the different types of learner engagement and quantifies how engaged a learner in the class. What does an engaged learner look like? An engaged learner will tend to have some easy to spot qualities that will show. These qualities might not be ones you see day to day. Generally, an engaged learner will be first keen to participate, get tasks done on or ahead of time, motivated in putting effort, asking questions and doing further work, inspired, encouraging other learners. So these are the types of learner engagement. Number one, we have the cognitive. These are being interested in the subject, social, sharing notes, being competitive, emotional, reactions like curiosity, physical, repeating an action till it's understood, behavioral, asking questions shows interest, cultural, learner's role in full learning strategy. These are some of the learner engagement techniques. Here are several effective learners engagement techniques. First is the active learning. Encourage students to enable in debates, group projects, and hands-on activities rather than passively consuming knowledge. Number two is think, pair, share. Have students consider a question separately, then discuss their ideas with with a companion before sharing their findings with the entire group. Number three is gamification. Use game components like points, medals, and challenges to inspire students and make learning more fun. Number four, project based learning. Encourage critical thinking and teamwork by letting students engage on interesting real world projects. Number five is flip classroom. Assign students to watch videos or study, assign text at home, and use class time for group projects, debates, or problem solving. Number six, differentiated instruction. Create classes that take into account the interests, learning styles, and skills levels of each student to ensure that they can participate completely. Number seven, peer teaching. Encourage pupils to instruct one another. This strengthens their comprehension and promotes a cooperative learning atmosphere. Number eight, interactive technology. To produce engaging classes, use resources like polls, quizzes, and instructional applications. Number nine, choice autonomy. Giving students the freedom for assignments, teams, or evaluation strategies that might motivate them to put more effort in their studies. Number 10 is Socratic questioning. Use open-ended questions to stimulate critical thinking and discussion, encouraging students to explore concepts deeply. What is culturally responsive teaching? Culturally responsive teaching is a student centered approach to education. It is based on the idea that every student brings unique cultural strengths to the classroom. Recognizing and nurturing those strengths not only encourages success but also promotes an open minded, supportive environment that celebrates cultural differences. To be successful, culturally responsive teaching strategies must be incorporated at every stage of the learning process, from curriculum development to assessment. Culturally responsive teaching is not a secondary or supplemental approach to education. Instead, every learning opportunity and school activity should take the ancestral and contemporary cultures, beliefs, and tradition of students into account. This could include observing your students' significant holiday tradition in class or seeking to understand how and why your students and their families may value particularly subjects more than others. These are some of the teaching strategies and example. First is to learn about your student. Open communications should uncover your student learning styles, distribute surveys and questionnaires, and explain them in your class discussion. Number two, interview students. Take each student aside for 2 minutes to ask about hobbies, favorite lessons, and their preferred in class exercises. Next is integrate relevant word problems. Contextualize equation using word problems that reference student interests and cultures. Number four, present new concepts using student vocabulary. Use student diction to capture attention and build understanding before using academic terms. Next, bring in guest speakers. Invite guest speakers who can add context to your lesson and speak from a specific culture's general perspective. Use learning station. Provide a range of materials by setting up learning station. Also, we have gamify lessons. Appeal to gaming culture by, for example, writing instruction manuals for projects and earning rewards such as badges. Call on each student. Encourage each student to share his or her thoughts, though call and response, keeping the class attention in the process. Next is use media that positively depict a range of cultures. Include different cultures and languages in your curriculum by presenting relevant materials such as movies about them. Next is to encourage students to propose ideas for projects. Let students take projects from concept to completion by pitching your ideas, allowing them to showcase their strengths. Next is experiment with peer teaching. Embrace student vocabulary and communal practices by allowing them to teach each other through exercises such as jigsaw activities. Next is establish cooperative based groups. Schedule meetings times and make agendas for groups or 3 to 4 students, allowing them to review lessons and answer each other's questions. Next is run problem-based learning scenarios. Present relatable, real-world problems for your student to solve, explicitly referencing cultures and communities when applicable. Last is involve parents by using take-home letters. Open the door to parent participation when starting a new unit or trying an education tool for the first time. Parents can provide culture, context, and act as the main educators in many societies. Then, what is collaborative learning? Collaborative learning can occur peer to peer or in larger groups. Peer learning or peer instruction is a type of collaborative learning that involves students working in pairs or small groups to discuss concepts or find solutions to problems. Similar to the idea that the or three heads are better than one. Educational researchers have found that through peer instruction, students teach each other by addressing misunderstandings and clarifying misconceptions. Why use collaborative learning? Research shows that educational experiences that are active, social, contextual, engaging, and student owned lead to deeper learning. The benefits of collaborative learning include: number one, development of higher level thinking, oral communication, self management, and leadership skills. Number two, promotion of student faculty interaction. Number three, increase in student retention, self esteem, and responsibility. Number four, exposure to and an increase in understanding of diverse perspective. Number five, preparation for real life social and employment situation. Getting started with collaborative learning. Shorter in class collaborative learning activities generally involve a three-step process. This process can be as shown as 5 minutes but can be longer depending on the task on hand. Introduce the task. This can be as simple as introducing students to turn to their neighbor to discuss a debate a topic. Next, provide students with enough time to engage with the task. Walk around and address any question as needed. Next is the brief. Call on a few students to share a summary of their conclusion. Address any misconception or clarify any confusing points. Open the floor for question. For larger group work projects, here are some strategies to help ensure productive group dynamics. Provide opportunities for students to develop rapport and group cohesion through icebreakers, team building, and reflection exercises. Give students time to create a group work plan, allowing them to plan for deadlines and divide up their responsibilities. Have students establish ground rules. Students can create a contract for each members to sign. This contract can include agreed upon penalties for those who fail to fulfill obligation. Next is to assign roles to members or each group and change the roles periodically. For example, one student can be the coordinator, another the note taker, another the summarizer, and another the planner of next steps. Next is allow students to rate each other's quality and quantity of contribution. Use this evaluation when giving individual grades, but do not let it weigh heavily on a student's final grade. Communicate clearly how peer assessment will influence grades. Check in with groups intermittently, but encourage students to handle their own issues before coming to your for assistance. So that's all my report on about uh, inclusive education.